You have reached the Geek Elite. Good luck. Mitch and Elizabeth are getting married. We're getting hitched.
We're getting hitched.
There will be no less than 3 things that go wrong, one of which will be major.
And you're not going to be attending unless you're on the list.
Biggest air quotes possible, because perfect is an illusion.
That's right. Mitch and Elizabeth are getting hitched, and we are 27 weeks away from the wedding. Elizabeth, how are you?
I am doing really well because I'm staring at the lovely face of Rosie Laughlin, which always puts a smile on my face. But I'm also feeling a little energized because there's been a lot going on this week, wedding-wise.
That's right. One of your bridesmaids and her partner, Rose and Harrison, are here to talk to us about weddings and all the things that happen at weddings and what they look forward to. Say hi.
Hi, thanks for having us. This is Rose and Harrison.
Hi, this is Harrison. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for coming on the show.
And we're recording from 3 locations.
That's right.
Tonight, because Rosie is in Chicago and Harry is in Minneapolis, and then we're at our home base in Yuma.
That's right. The wonders of technology.
Yes.
So yeah, as I stated, we want to know what it is that you look forward to at weddings. So what is the one thing that you look forward to at a wedding? Harrison.
I mean, it's kind of simple, but it's always a great time to get the gang back together. You know, it's always the best time to see the people you haven't seen in forever and tell the old stories and pour a little bit of alcohol on it. And then everyone starts doing the crazy dance that you haven't seen Mitch do since freshman year of college or something like that, you know? So I always love that aspect of it.
Oh, don't worry. I'll get out there in Dougie. What about you, Rose?
I'm just a dancing fiend. So like my favorite part about weddings is just to get out on the dance floor. And often I'm a little braver in weddings because, you know, I often know people in weddings, so I can dance a little more freely without, you know, having to worry about making a fool of myself or like attracting unwanted attention, like could happen at a club. Although that also doesn't really stop me. If I go to a wedding and I don't know people, I'm still like one of the first people on the dance floor just tearing it up. And I think that comes from like coming from a big family. A lot of my cousins are very old. And so I was going to weddings, you know, starting at like the age of 7. And my mom was always the first one on the dance floor at these family weddings. So that's just what I associate all weddings with.
There you go.
Groovin'.
So what about favorite wedding traditions? You know, those things that occur, those little games or events that occur at every wedding. What's your favorite wedding tradition? Or if it's easier to start with, what's your least favorite wedding tradition? The one that you dread people doing just makes you, or at least makes, in my case, makes me cringe.
I think one of my favorite wedding traditions is the best man and maid of honor speech, because especially if you don't know the couple that well, it really gives you a chance for people to kind of tell the stories. And usually the best man speech, there's a lot of roasting involved. It's usually, if someone's a pretty good speaker, that's usually pretty funny. I have had a couple best man speeches where I just could not stop laughing the entire time. I really enjoy the speeches and kind of learning about everyone through that.
Nice. Rosie?
I think my favorite tradition is the first dance of the couple, because even though it's like very intimate to them, you know, you kind of get like the front row seat to like their actual relationship, because depending on the ceremony, if it's religious or not religious, there's so much formality involved. But the first dance is like your first glimpse into the couple's personality without the formality, because each first dance song is so unique. And I'm just a sucker for romance, so I always swoon, and I'm like, oh, look at that. So yeah, that's probably my favorite tradition.
What
Look at
about
us
your?
starting with positive? Way to go, Harry.
Yeah. But now the fun part. What's your least favorite one? As Rosie takes a bite of food. So Harry.
I'm gonna go old school. I feel like I haven't really ever seen this one for a very long time, but I'm not a fan of smashing cake in people's faces. I think it has this cute kind of let's be this cute thing, but it just kind of ends up not being great. I don't know. I feel like it's kind of gone away. I feel like that was kind of a more of an older tradition that most people don't really do anymore, but I'm still thumbs down on it.
So see, no smashing cake in my face.
I feel like that's not going to stop you from smashing it in mine.
Well, that may be.
Okay.
But that's fine. Rosie, what about you?
So this is also an oldie, and I guess it's not terrible in its like overall tradition, but I've seen it done once and it was just like horrible. But the dollar dance, where like, you know, if people are unfamiliar, you pay $1 to dance with the bride, and in theory it's like, you know, supposed to go to the honeymoon fund. But number one, I find it really weird that the bride is selling dances to other people on her wedding day. Like, I find that very creepy and untoward. And I was talking with Harrison about this the other day, and he was like, well, it's nice because then it like, you know, you get to spend time with the bride. So the bride gets to spend time with more of her guests. And I'm like, well, yeah, that's a very positive, not horrible way of looking at it. But I was also at a wedding where it was a very dramatic wedding with a lot of family drama, and many, I would say about half the people at the wedding did not support the wedding. And many of the guests left very early. And so the bride, during the dollar dance, was like going around to tables, and she's pretty inebriated, and like accosting people, like demanding that they give her money and then dance with her.
Wow.
And it was so cringy and horrible that I like just ended up giving my date like a $5 bill, and I was like, please just go proactively give this to her. If she has to come over to this table, like, I'm gonna die. Like, it was so uncomfortable. I think that's the most uncomfortable I've ever been at a wedding before, was watching a bride go from table to table.
I think,
Yeah, that would.
yeah.
That would definitely top it for me. Well, I was going to follow up with, like, does it make it more or less when they... Because, like, sometimes I've seen the dollar dance where they pin it to the bride, and then sometimes where the maid of honor will hold a jar, and, like, you put the money in the jar. So does it make it less creepy if you're not actually, like, safety pinning dollars to the bride's dress?
I mean, it's certainly less creepy, but it's still I still feel about it.
So what's funny is, so Harry, you are definitely the first person to ever talk about the smashing cake in each other's faces.
I felt like garter belts is the obvious, or like the garter little thing, and I was like, I'm going to try to go for something a little less, less
casual disdain.
Yeah.
You did a good job.
Yeah, I was going to say, because, the garter belt has definitely been the top, and then the dollar dance has probably been second, pretty close behind. The other interesting one we got was somebody didn't like when people wrote their own vows. There was one person who didn't care for that, which was unusual. But yeah, no, smashing cake is definitely a new one, so we'll have to mark that off.
I also have to say I've noticed a theme in all of Rose's answers at this moment. It's all been about dancing. So I'm glad that we got a good wedding band. So it's going to be a good night.
Yeah. Rosie will not do what some of the RSVPs have already done and just fail to fill in our request, request for a song. Rosie will probably give us about 6 at least.
Yeah, there'll be a couple.
And it'll be limited to 6 only because there's a character limit to answering the question.
So, with all that being said, how many times have each of you been in a wedding party? Because right now, Rose, you are part of Elizabeth's bridesmaids.
It's going to be hard. It's going to be difficult for me to count to, but I'm going to say probably around 5.
Okay.
I'm definitely going to say that being in the wedding party is always awesome, especially if there is a party bus involved. That's got to be low key, definitely one of my favorite things is getting involved in a party bus.
That is always good. That is always good. Sorry, no party bus this time because we're all staying on. It's all on site. But the good news is you don't have to figure out how to get home afterwards.
There we go. Safety first.
That's right. So, what is it that you had to do as a responsibility as being part of the party, the wedding party?
I have had to do everything from one wedding was kind of a little bit more of a frugal affair. They didn't want to ask anyone for money, and so they did basically all of their own food, and they invited a few hundred people, and so I literally helped make sandwiches for this wedding. It was part of slinging some sandwiches. So I have put coolers of beer on a party bus before. I've definitely done that. What else? Helped fold some pocket squares when people didn't know how to fold pocket squares. So Google Foo really helped me out with that. Made everyone look really nice. So that was a good one. Just a jack of all trades.
There you go. Just make sure that my groomsmen know that they have to be ready to do anything at any moment. Yeah. Make a sandwich or fold a pocket square.
For sure.
Rose, have you been able to count it up yet?
Yes. I've been a bridesmaid 5 times, and I've been a personal attendant once. So 6 wedding parties.
Okay. And
no, 7. I've been a personal attendant twice.
And what kind of responsibilities have you had to take on?
Honestly, being a bridesmaid kind of rules because I feel like by the day of the big show, unless you're the maid of honor, everything's taken care of. Although the first wedding that I was in the wedding party for, I had to read a passage from the Book of Mormon because it was a Mormon Catholic hybrid.
Wow.
And I had to read from the book of Elimelech. And I will never forget how to pronounce Elimelech because my friend made me read an entire passage from the book of Elimelech in front of hundreds of people.
I mean, you remember the name, but do you remember the passage?
No, I don't remember anything about it. I just remembered, don't screw this up.
She just remembers practicing how to say Elimelech.
Yeah, that's right.
Mm-hmm. So that was my most dubious duty. But then I also remember I had a bride who gets very motion sick. And so we were on the trolley in Omaha, and she was getting so sick and was about to throw up. And everyone was dancing and having a good time. She was very embarrassed. She didn't want anyone to know. So I grabbed the clipboard from the driver and just started fanning her, but was dancing. And so in the videos, it looks like she and I are just having a good time, and I'm just casually fanning her. But in reality, I was aggressively attempting to prevent her from puking all over her beautiful white dress. And she didn't. We made it. We made it without pumping, but it came pretty close.
Incognito helper. I like it.
Yeah.
Rosie can make anything a party.
There you go. That's a good superpower right there. I like that.
And puke prevention is a consistent goal.
Now, am I wrong? But Rosie, you're going to end up having a very tight schedule for our wedding?
Yes.
Yes.
It's okay. It's already been planned out, and the schedule for hair and makeup has already been situated accordingly.
You're gonna be dashing in right at the wire there. You're gonna
it'll be a casual stroll.
Oh, okay.
For sure. But yes, the night before I'll be coming in from San Diego. Well, I'll be coming in from San Diego in the morning.
Yeah.
And I don't trust flights when times are that tight. There's no room for error, so we're gonna be renting a vehicle and driving.
I mean, the lucky thing is that there's usually really good weather in Phoenix around that time, so you wouldn't have to worry about weather delays or anything like that.
There's not going to be any issue.
Yeah. So, okay. I like it. I like you living on the edge there, living on the dangerous side. I get it.
Oh, yeah. Well, and on the other side of y'all's wedding, Harrison's family is going hiking in Arcadia National Park. So my bag will be packed with like formal, dress rehearsal dress for what's going on in San Diego, the bridesmaids' accoutrement for y'all's weddings, and obviously a sewing kit, and then hiking gear for when we jet set from your wedding to the other side of the country.
There you
To
go.
hang out in a forest.
I mean, clothes for all the occasions. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yeah.
I'm excited to see the TSA agent's face if he decides to search your bag. It's like, what's the occasion that you're attempting to pack for, young woman?
Always keep them guessing. Harry, I like that joke, Harrison, because it's not like you're not also going to have like and comedians.
Well, sometimes you just got to have a suit and hiking boots, and you just got to be prepared.
I mean,
I'm really tempted to ask you guys for a picture in your suit and dress while hiking in the mountains, just because in your hiking boots, just because I feel like that would be a great photo.
Absolutely.
I mean, Beth, it's your weekend, so you kind of can flex whatever you want. Like even when the wedding is over, it's still it's like your whole week, your whole month. I feel like you can exercise a lot of power.
I feel like you should also take the advantage of just saying that you're spies. Like when you're at the TSA, just be like,
it's classified. We can't talk about that.
Yeah, exactly.
When they start asking questions.
You know what people at Homeland Security love? Other employees of Homeland Security being like, that's classified.
I mean, I'm sure you can get away with it. It won't be too bad. Really mess up that schedule of yours.
Yeah. Let's not play that game.
Okay.
I get accused of not being a risk taker.
I mean, you would know her best. You knew her a lot longer than I have. Is she a risk taker?
Beth, I love you. I would say no, but I'm going to caveat that because I was friends with Beth for maybe like 3 weeks to a month. And I forget what the context was, but we were out and drinks were flowing one night.
Sounds right.
And something, I forget what the trigger was, but Beth and I just got to chatting and she looked me square in the face and said, but you do realize if you ever have a problem with anyone and you need someone to help you take care of it and subsequently get rid of the body,
Jesus,
I'm your girl. And I had absolute faith in that moment that she was not only serious, but could very effectively take care of my problems and dispose of
any evidence.
And like, it would be so thought out. Like, I would be a terrible murderer. Like, I would definitely fuck up. Like, Beth would not fuck up. Like, so is that risky? You tell me, to be a woman with a plan all the time.
I mean, obviously that's the opposite of risk. That is having a plan. It's not risky at all. And maybe
a lot of risky things can become unrisky if they're well thought out and planned for.
I mean, that's how Batman takes care of it. It's all preparation time. So
right. So it doesn't preclude you from doing anything dubious as long as you're efficient.
Also, food for thought for marrying her. So thank you.
You're welcome.
You actually didn't already know that.
I know.
Mitch, I hope you find that comforting rather than disquieting.
Oh, very comforting.
Good.
I mean, I'm definitely going to need someone to take care of my body. So,
So, Rosie, you've been a part of the planning. Is there one element of the wedding day that you're most excited for? And Harry, if Rosie's been talking about it with you, you're more than welcome to answer the question, but I don't want to put you on the spot because I don't know what she's shared or hasn't shared.
Oh. I mean, there's a lot I'm really excited for. I mean, off the bat, I don't know. I'm very excited to see your dress in its final stage because, that's like a particular interest of mine is like fashion. I think it's been really cool what you've been able to do, and I'm really excited for it. I'm also very excited for the band. Like, Harry, I don't know if I told you this, but it's a band that normally does like a karaoke, so their repertoire is vast. And I'm
our band we first heard. Well, Mitch has actually sung with them.
Yeah, like
during their live band karaoke on Thursday nights at a bar.
Yeah, so there's Phoenix Comic Con every year, and every year this band is part of the Copper Blues bar that they do a live karaoke, and I usually try and hit it up when I go to Phoenix Comic Con, so it's pretty fun. They are pretty great.
I'm pumped. Also, is the beer burrow a thing?
I don't think the beer burrow is going to end up being a thing.
I don't think it's going to make it.
That's fine. No one's excited about that.
I feel like her heart broke a little bit.
I think it did. I think just a tad.
Just a tad.
Sure didn't. But it's, you know what? It might have, but I can't. It's your day. Not like, what are Rose's top teas or top tier wedding experiences?
Yeah, it was mostly one of those. Do we get the late night taco bar? Do we get the beer burrow?
And I think it was more of just the idea, like was funny enough to have to mention it to people, and it kind of caught on fire from there. Just to be like, did you know that you can get a beer burrow at your wedding? And everybody be like, well, what's a beer burrow? And then it's like, well, it's literally a donkey carrying beers around your wedding. And it sounds great, but then again, I was like, a live animal at my wedding does not sound like the best thing.
Yeah. The logistics would be tricky.
Yep. Although, not going to lie, my mom is also equally devastated with you, Rosie, that we are not currently planning the beer burrow. So,
but the goal will just have to have a guest get drunk enough that they'll get down on all fours, and we can just like.
I'm sure this can happen. I'm almost positive.
Here's my eyes are on Harrison for this one.
We'll see what I can do.
I do have to ask, like, Harrison, since you'll be coming in, like, obviously I've never met Rose, and but Elizabeth's never met you, so you're going to be coming in literally knowing only one other person, I assume. Like, I don't know if there's other friends that from college or anything, but how are you going to feel at this kind of event?
I'm pretty excited. I mean, from what little I know, it sounds like there's going to be a lot of fun activities. Rose has kind of talked about some games involving, which invitation you get. And I'm pretty excited to find out what it's all about, because it seems like a lot of thought was put into this. So I'm pretty pumped to see what pans out.
Well, good. I'm glad to hear that. Yeah.
I'm glad it sounds like a lot of thought has been put into it, because there has been. So it would really hurt if, like, I did all this work and everybody was like, looks like it was just kind of thrown together.
I don't think that's going to be the thing that comes out of this. That's for sure. When you're just pulling your hair out, I think that's going to be the one.
Nah. Come day of, it's no longer my problem.
That's right. Absolutely. Okay, last question. What is it that, if you could give us some advice, would be the piece of advice that you want to give us for the wedding or for our marriage?
With all the knowledge I have from having been married before.
Exactly. Yes. All that experience.
None of that.
But you know what? Sometimes you have to be outside of the situation. I see things better from an outsider point of view, I think.
Oh, well, so this was what a friend told me what her favorite part of her wedding was at the end of the night, before, like, all of the other guests had left. And she and the groom had one dance, just the two of them, after the whole shebang. And she said that was really special because it was, like, still them in their venue, like, full get up, but it was also, like, just them, and they got that space to, like, reflect on, like, all of the shenanigans that had ensued, and then were able to, like, continue on, and then did the after party and stuff like that. So if there's one piece of advice I would try to find, it was, like, maybe build in, like, 1 to 2 pockets for just Mitch and Elizabeth that like will let you savor the experience.
I like it.
It's good advice.
So, hijacked from Kylie. Advice from someone else.
Hey, the best advice is always hijacked from somebody.
That's right. I mean, as long as you credit it, you're good.
Right? I copied it.
I'm gonna echo that because my advice is also stolen from some of the people that I listen to, and they said one of the best investments you can ever make is in date night. Investing in date night is going to always pay great returns. So that's my piece of advice that I have pilfered from others who are wiser than I am. So,
and he
Also
intends to use in our life. Right?
Yeah. Yes, exactly.
Well, thank you. Thank you for coming on the show and talking to us about weddings. I think it was very helpful. Is there any social media that either one of you want to give out? You really don't have to. I just want to not be rude.
I do not.
Okay.
Do you want to give out a Twitter handle or how people find you on Facebook or any of that stuff, Rosie?
No, thanks.
Okay. No problem.
You can see how tech savvy I am. I was like, what does that mean? I'm clearly really into the socials.
If you want to give me any more advice or talk about traditions on weddings, please find me on Twitter. I'm at Mitchipedia, GEM. GEM stands for Geek Elite Media. Elizabeth, where can people find you?
With the rest of Geek Elite Media at Geek Elite Media and our Facebook page /Geek Elite Media.
Check out our website, geekelitemedia.com, for archived episodes of this podcast and other podcasts on our network. And please rate and review us on whatever podcatcher you use to help spread the word of our network. But until next time, this is Geeking to the Chapel on the Geek Elite Media Network, saying always remember to
Geek out.
This concludes our broadcast.
Beep.